रसूलुहु। अस्सलामु अलैकुम वरहमतुल्लाहि वबरकातुहू।
वालेकुम अस्सलाम।
सबसे पहले तो मैं सब नाजरीन का तहे दिल से शुक्रिया अदा करता हूँ कि आप सब अपना इतना कीमती वक्त जो है हमारे साथ बिता रहे हैं। एंड in fact, today's topic is a very important topic because, as all of us know, that there are a lot of changes in our education policy in recent past. So we need to know more and more about it. And in fact, we are very much thankful to Janab Naseem Ahmad Saab. And before that, I would like to extend my thanks to Dr. Sheikh Saab, who is the one who initiated this about this webinar. And then, before we start the webinar, I just like to, give you the agenda of today's meeting. First, we will have a welcome speech by our current president of BENFA, Janab Mohammad Farooq Sahab. And then we will have a very short introduction presentation of BENFA Charitable Trust. And then we will have a main talk of today's topic by Janab Naseem Ahmad Sahab and Professor Mubashir Sahab. Then after that, there will be vote of thanks by our BEEP director, that is BENFA Education Empowerment Program Director, Dr. Muzammil Ahmad Saab. And we will conclude the webinar by a small dua by our treasurer, Janab Abdul Razak Sahab. So, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I request the current president of BENFA Charitable Trust, Janab Muhammad Farooq Sahab, to welcome and address the gathering.
Thank you so much, Dr. Suhail. Assalamu alaikum to everyone. This is a program, a webinar where we are conducting a BENFA Educational Empowerment Program. And the main goal is to make people and the community understand the different, the game of the shifting of educational landscape. We would like to join Mr. Naseem Ahmad Saab from Zia Schools and Academies as he explores the changing trends and opportunities in the education. In this dynamic era, education is evolving rapidly. I'm sure you're all most aware. Our discussion today will explore the changing trends, challenges, and opportunities in the educational landscape. Let us all come together for this and understand the best way forward. I look forward for all your participation. Thank you so much. Mr. Naseem Saab, I think you can start your speech, Dr. Naseem.
No, Farooq Bhai, just we will have a small presentation about BENFA Charitable Trust. Very small.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I think you can. You can
I
also
will
share the screen.
I will share the screen now. Yeah. Can all of you see the slides?
Yeah, it's visible.
Can you see? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. This webinar.
Yes, it's clear.
Yeah, this webinar is brought to you by BENFA Charitable Trust. We are a non-profit organization, a public charitable trust focusing on educational, healthcare, and socio-economic empowerment of underprivileged segment of the society. And today's webinar the topic is shifting landscape of education and its challenges. And the speaker is Janab Naseem Ahmad Sahab. He is the founder of Zia International School, Zia Semi, Zia Academy. He is a technologist, author, and educationist. Little bit of history and background of BENFA. What is BENFA? BENFA is a short form of 3 words, that is Bengaluru Friends Alliance. Bengaluru Friends Alliance was formed on 10th October 2020 and it was registered under Indian Trust Acts at Bengaluru on 19 January 2021 as BENFA Charitable Trust. Our motto, BENFA's motto is a little support can change lives. Of course, I don't want to go deep into this. All of us are very much aware of this statement that, of course, we believe that to change somebody's life, need not provide huge things. Even, little bit of support, like moral support, like as today Mr. Naseem Ahmad Saab is doing, that he's giving us knowledge about the changing policy of education. These things can, change lives. So that is what is our motto. And BENFA Charitable Trust emblem It is a little bit complicated, so I would like to explain about it. The red map represents the map of Bengaluru, and the five rays which are coming yellow, they are the five Benfa core values. And the tree, white tree which you are seeing, it represents the underplay or community of or society. So this is the emblem of Benfa. And our core values are: first is humanity, modesty, transparency, integrity, and honesty. And Benfa Charitable Trust logo is holding two hands together to support and help each other. And we have two welfare centers in Bangalore. This is our Bangalore South Division, which is located in Yarab Nagar, 19th, 13th, number 13 and 19th Main Road. This is our, new, before we were having a North Center in other location. Recently, we have shifted to this location, that is on the Shampur Main Road near Khuba Masjid, number 10 and first floor. These are the programs and schemes which are running under Benfa Charitable Trust. Benfa Education Empowerment Program. In short form, we call it as BEEP. Then we have Benfa Healthcare Program, Benfa Socio-Economic Program, Benfa Microcredit Scheme, Benfa Telemedicine, Benfa Widows Support Program, Benfa Oxygen Supply Cylinder Supply, ad hoc projects. We also take certain, like, whenever there are some emergencies, some some natural disasters or calamities, we take up, like, I just want one or two examples I can give you is, we had floods in Ramnagar. At that time we took up and we did whatever best we can do. And we have lastly Benfa English Academy. We had started this, but due to certain shortfalls and setbacks, right now we have stopped it. Inshallah, we are looking forward to restart it. These are the few activities happening in Benfa office, admin office. This was the launch of Benfa Microcredit Scheme, and guest of honor was Mr. Rizwan Arshad Sahab, who is the current MLA of Shivajinagar. These are the few activities of Benfa Microcredit Scheme. We do have Benfa Telemedicine, which was started at the COVID time. And these are the free health camps which we have conducted in past. These are the other activities during the holy month of Ramadan. We do Benfa Zakat program and Benfa Fitra program. And during Eid al-Adha, we do Benfa Qurbani program. And these are the pictures of some, ration kits which were distributed during the Ramadan time. Every year we do this program in every Ramadan. Alhamdulillah. These are the few pictures of, our activities. These are the few pictures of our webinars which we have conducted so far. Many more are there, but these are the few important ones. This was, we had felicitated one girl in Frasertown College who had topped in the Bangalore University, and she was first girl from their whole family, from their whole khandan to achieve this goal. That's why Benfa Charitable Trust facilitated her. And this is our contact. Our website is Benfa, www.benfa.org. Mobile and WhatsApp 9611834443. Benfa serving society selflessly. A little support can change lives. So this was a very short introduction of Benfa. And if anybody want to, contact us, as I have mentioned the number, you can contact us anytime, any day. So now we shall start the main topic of today's webinar. That is the shifting landscape of education and its challenges. I request Janab Naseem Ahmad Saab to take on the dais.
Assalamu alaikum. I would like to thank Dr. Suhail and others for inviting us to present the talk on the changing landscape of education. Right, so here the first I will be talking on this topic, and after that, Mubassir sir will be talking more about the coaching institution and their direction and their the challenges and how parents uh, are getting affected, right? How why it is of your concern that if there is any change coming in the coaching industry, their direction or their competition, then how parents are getting affected. So these two parts would be the first presentation I will be taking. That would go about 40 minutes. So should we start? We should start sharing.
Yes, please go ahead. Start the sharing slides.
So my name is Naseem Ahmed, as Dr. Saab has already introduced. So I need not to say give any introduction of mine. So going directly on the topic. So here in this topic, changing landscape of education, here the overview for the parent's perspective. It has two perspectives. We will be covering the parents' perspective here in this discussion. And in that, we would try to understand that how education has changed in last 4 decades. Then we will be talking about the government policies and guidelines and why it is necessary for us to understand that what are these government policies and guidelines, how they are affecting the parents and the student. Then we are very, I see while taking the, say, talking the parents, then I see quite much of confusion they have regarding the academic board. Which board is good? What is the pros and cons on different boards? So I'll be talking a bit on it. Then the career oriented education, how it is different than the education conventionally we understand. Then we will be talking about in today's scenario, what a parent should look into the school, or maybe we should say that how school should position themselves in today's socio-economic landscape, and how this positioning keeps changing with respect to change in socio-economics, say, scenario, right? And similarly, we'll be talking about how the PU, pre-university education, 11th and 12th, has to be positioned in today's time, and what thing a parent should consider while taking the admission, what are the genuine and right question they should know to ask the schools so that they can assess that whether they are putting their kids at right schools or not. Then social leadership redefined, that will not be, say, part of this discussion, because in the second part where I talked about it, where the discussion is about the changing landscape of education and its impact on the say social leadership of a community or a person. So that is different perspective. So we will not be touching base of this one. So second part, so social transformation and leadership, we will not be touching base of this one. Maybe sometime later we can talk on. And we have very good case studies on it, which will definitely say catch your attention, not only catch your attention, but probably I would say blow your minds. That such case studies, if you hear, and how the social transformation really can take place today with the case studies we have that happen in India in certain states. So we will not be covering this in this session. Maybe sometime later we can talk on it. So moving on to the say the topics that we will be covering on. The first one, the dynamics of the education and how this dynamics has changed in last 4 decades, and also how it has impacted our our kids, our society, or as a whole. So if we remember 1991, the liberalization and quota rise has started at the same time. So sometimes two events complement each other, and that is how it did over here. That liberalization has fueled an environment where a lot of jobs, technical jobs, India has got, and quota has started a mechanism through which the students get the preparation. Okay, so I think there's a lot of noise coming in here.
Yes.
Yeah.
अभी
So we can
अभी
continue.
mute हो गया. Yeah, please go ahead.
So yeah. So that liberalization has created a huge number of very good jobs in private sector. They were equally good as we used to basically dream to get the job in government sector, right? And quota has showcased a model through which they were able to prepare the student to reach in the best engineering and medical institution. So in 90s, they have started. Over a period of 10 years, they have demonstrated a model that could be corporatized. And because there was a demand from the corporate side and there was a model from the quota, therefore people. Therefore, the people saw that there could be. Has showcased a model in education, and they had proved that conventional mode of education is not good enough for creating a good technocrat. That they have demonstrated in 10 years. In 90s, we used to see that IIT or NEET toppers, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, all used to come from quota. And the strength in the quota used to be about more than 3 to 4 lakhs students used to go to quota. And the revenue has risen up to maybe 50,000 crores to 20,000. This has been seen as an opportunity for corporate houses to make a business model and spread across the India. And they have started it doing in 2010. And we saw that from 2010 to 2000 to 2010, lots of coaching institution came, like FITSE, like Ellen, like say Akash, so many coaching institution, corporate houses, they came. And they had spread their wing across the India in 10 years. In 2000 to 2010, they had reached all across the India, right? And they have developed a model that after school hours, the student used to go to their coaching centers. They used to learn for preparation of JEE and NEET, right? Once they mastered this model, they wanted to explore the more business opportunities. Therefore, they went into the schools. They talked to the management of the schools and say that your kids are coming to our centers for learning physics, chemistry, maths, and biology for medical and say engineering competition. Why not we come and teach right here in your school and you replace your teacher with us? And that has got a mod, and now in 10 years from 2010 to 2020, almost all good schools have replaced their science and maths faculty with the outsourced faculty from the coaching institution, right? That is what is the known story to all of us. Then what is new in it? The new in it is that we have got to know that integration model is now well accepted. But it has started early 2010. Then the benefits, the biggest beneficiaries were those who were knowing this model from the very early stage. We got to know today about the integration model, and we see that that if we want to prepare our kids for JEE or NEET, then we have to adopt it. But it is very old-fashioned model. Now the model is something else. So we need to keep an eye and see that what is happening in education today, that what we see is widespread, had got started about 10 years back. Had we knew that, probably would have benefited that, right? So integration has become a norm today in Bangalore. If you see, not only Bangalore, across India, and all the schools in 11th and 12th, they have this model that JEE NEET preparation is done by the coaching institution, and other subjects like humanities, maybe the English, Hindi, or the subjects computer science, that is being taken up by the schools. Right, this is known to us. What is not known to us and what is coming forth? Right now, this integration model has came down to even 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th. And this has got started some 4 or 5 years back, even not it is a new one, though we do not know. Right? So the integration has started from 6 onward. What they teach in 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th. They target, if we see the CBSE curriculum up to 10th standard, we will find that they have hardly anything that is relevant to the say competitive examination. I'll come to that in the next slide. They hardly have anything in that, right? And that is what these coaching institutions are exploiting, that they know, and we also know that those topics which has been there in CBSE 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th, if they are taught properly by very good mentors who actually know how to teach, could be covered not more than 3 to 4 months. And rest of the time, they focus more on how to prepare for these competitive examinations or how to learn maths and science that truly makes us a technocratic mindset, right? So this schooling today, what we see is changing, or rather I would say is changed, like you would have heard about Chaitanya and Narayana, right? So they have this model already there in their schools. TPS and others are just started to adopt these in their say lower classes, right? So now those who are going to take up this will definitely will have an edge when they are going to participate in competition in 11th and 12th. Okay. So this trend in last 40, 30, 40, 35 years, we clearly see demarcated. This started with the quota, and then that has been taken up with corporate organization, and then corporate organization has expanded and made it an integrated program. And now its integrated program has gone calculated down to the schooling, right? And schooling and beyond, why I say that it is still evolving. It is still evolving. It is not something which is basically crystallized. It is evolving, and different players are coming up with different options. We do have certain options and certain thoughts. We do have our curriculum or books and other things. Right. So what I mean is that this is evolving. So as a parent, we also know that what's really happening beyond CBSE, beyond ICSE, beyond IGCSE, beyond the boards, right? So, so let us move on to the next slide. So now it's interesting. So that what government policies and guidelines you all are expecting, probably I'll not go more in that detail because that is not very relevant to us as it is hyped about by our community that new education policy is going to be killer for our community. Literally, it is not. What is killer for our community is not having the knowledge of what's happening in education today and how it is shaping the community and the individual or the student. That is more killing because that we really do not know. So government policies that I would be talking about, that why we see our students, especially Muslims, are lagging in education. All right. So let us talk about the government policy, right to education, that came in 2009, very well known RTE. The RTE is a program for education for literacy, because government has given the right to every individual, every citizen of India, that they have fundamental right to get education. Now as a government they are talking about 1.45 billion people. Then what their policies and objective and direction would be centered around? This is centered around more on to educate the whole population to the level that they should be able to read, write. That is what they qualify as a literate person. Now I would be bringing out certain policies that government has, and from the government it has been adopted in CBSC, ICSC, state board, and other boards too. What that policy says, that there is no detention up to class 8th. That you just cannot fail a student no matter he has a blank sheet, answer sheet written in his examination paper. If he hasn't written anything, the teacher does not have right, or school does not have right to fail him or detain in that class. No physical punishment. If student is bunking the whole year, he's coming just for 2 days or 3 days in a week, then the teachers or the management does not have any right to give any kind of punishment. No expansion or suspension. They cannot detain in any class. No checks on fee collection even. If the student is not paying the fee, the management or school cannot forcibly collect the fee. Now see, under these circumstances, these policies, what do we understand? We understand that this is very much parent and student centric policy, right? Why it is so parent and student centric policy is the reason because they have made the education as a fundamental right to everyone. So, and that definition of fundamental right is that they should be able to read and write, right? I'm taking two worst cases, extreme cases. Assume that there's a school in very far-flung area in India, maybe in some part of Bihar, where there's no access to internet, no access to road, no access to electricity, no access to good teachers. There we have a school which is CBSE affiliated. CBSE is also having equal right and obligation for that school and their student to pass as much as we have in Bangalore, the best school. So the policies are drafted and made considering the worst cases. Therefore we see these policies that you cannot fail, because under those circumstances there will be students who are not able to write the answers, right? They will not be able to pass even 33% mark. And if they are punished for not doing the homework, then probably they will drop and they will stop coming to the school, right? So therefore, the government wants that somehow the students should come and they should keep getting promoted at least for 8 years. Then in 8 years, if they are coming, no matter how bad they are mentored, they are taught, but in 8 years they will be able to read and write, and that is the job government is and is done, right? So therefore, if we see CBSE 98%, I don't care. And here we have Mubasir sir, he also doesn't care. He has been teaching last for 12 years to IIT mains and advanced. He has produced numerous IITs, and he has this experience that CBSE 90%, 98%, 99%. has no significance and no meaning. The reason is the benchmark has been set so low that even somebody hits 98%, he do not care twice. Right. So now the National Education Policy 2020, that is NEP, all right. So again, I would say a lot of talks from our community has been coming that this education policy is going to be killing for our culture and our values. I would say don't worry about it. Really, don't worry about it. What we should be worrying about is more about our institution and our colleges. Then the things remains in our control that what culture and what thing we are going, how we are going to manage. We have the prayer rules. Our student pray. Who is going to control that? Nobody can control. Right? Is going to control. If something is written in books, how it is going to taught is basically it depends on how the teacher is teaching. However good they are changing the book, doesn't matter how we are going to teach. Can always give a disclaimer that this is what is there, but the fact is this. I remember in 7th standard when Master Suleiman Sahib used to teach us history, and he used to give us the disclaimer that this is what is written, but the fact is this. So we should not be bothered about these things that what NEP is, how it is going to affect our culture. We should rather be worrying about what is the dynamics of education, and in this changing scenario, how should we win in the race, right? So again, NEP is again based on the literacy program, as the RTE is just, it is a new wrapper that has come in, wherein they are saying that it should be more play-based activity. Therefore, there is more participation of the student. They should be feeling happy about coming to school, emphasis about the literacy and numeracy. These are the government policies, vocational education from 6th, mental health and well-being, that is all good, but there, what is the education in this? They're all good, whatever policy they are drafted, but what is the education in it? For being a good doctor, engineer, maybe good international level expert, but they need to be subject expert, but there's no mention about it. Okay, the challenges. So there are two class of the education. The government, what they are focusing about is the education for literacy. And what you and I are looking is education for career. Education for, say, literacy has no relevance and no connection with respect to the education for career. If we see the requirement for shaping the career, whether be it JEE or be it NEET or be it Olympiad or be it GRE for international career options or TOEFL or IELTS, right? So they are really different. Their learning process, their preparation, their mentorship, they are totally different. For science stream, if you see in India, we have the good option. People talk about the IIT and NEET. For higher studies, we have GRE and TOEFL. So in IIT, we have 10,000 good seats, reasonably good seat, which we can say deserves to be told as IIT, because we now have about 23 IITs. In that, 7, 8 IITs are really those which are very well recognized internationally. Others are just being opened, given a brand name of IIT. They are not as good, right? NIT, another 20,000 seats. So what we have in our every year, we have about 30,000 good number of seats where if our kids go, then they can shape a career. What I mean 30,000 seats, if we can bring our kids there, they can influence the society. Further, there are seats, maybe 50,000 more seats are there in different state engineering college, but they will meet their bread and butter, and there's no vision shaping, there's no impact that they probably can make. I'll come basically why IIT, right? Why IIT? Because if you go in IIT Kanpur, this is a shared hostel, 2, 3 students together. If someone goes and asks someone in hostel third year, maybe if they are, what is your plan? Probably you will hear someone saying that I'm thinking about UPSC. ask the next one, what is your plan? He probably would answer that I'm thinking of doing masters from MIT and then PhD and going into the academic field. To ask the next one, probably he will be saying that I am targeting for CAT. Right? No one would be worrying about the jobs and the say livelihood, because the culture that they have set is really high. And once we send our kids, it's not just IIT, it's more about creating a mindset who thinks big, where the visions are given, where the strategies are developed apart from the tech, right? So these are the challenges, but these are the challenges that the number of seats where we really send our kids who can really transform our society, who can really think and strategize what next, who can really be the player who can shift the goals, right? There, if we target about, then we really need to think, say these few seats that are available in India. Okay, so maybe we can move on to the next one. Okay, then say having these two classification of the education, that one is education for literacy. That program is run by CBSE, ICSE, IGCSE, IB. All the boards program are mass oriented, that they are serving the entire country. And I'm not, by the way, I'm talking so bad about these, but I don't mean it to, because their objective is to serve mass and to create the literacy in the whole country. Therefore, they are governed by the government policies and they are bound to do that. But you and I, being a parent, or I being running an educational institution, whether should I set an objective to create the literacy, then if it is the case, then I should better go in the village and open a free education camp. Probably in this investment that I did in Bangalore, I can open maybe some 20 schools in the say in villages, and that would be better served for the literacy program. And you also, those who are listening here, probably not sending your kids for the education for literacy, but you definitely will be having certain targets and goals and aspirations for your kids. So what is today's need? The need is CBSE augmented, that have CBSE as a platform, as a boat on which we are boarded. And we are crossing class 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, reaching up to 10, 11, and 12, meeting their requirements, but at the same time, we must keep augmenting our skills that are needed for qualifying these international level examinations. And for that, apart from CBSE, we must have our own augmented program. We must have our own curriculum, especially in science and maths. And there are schools today who have their own books starting from 6th to 10th, and Chaitanya Narayana are one among them, and there are a few more, right? Therefore, the education has become really innovative, and a lot of creativity is needed, because the thing that our target and goal and end result is to get success in these competitive examinations, not only IIT, JEE or NEET, but UPSC and others too. I can talk more about UPSC and others, how they are linked to IIT, JEE or NEET. Maybe sometime later we can discuss on it, but they are very much linked to, right? So because these are the targets that are set and people are just having competition running around. So they come up with ideas, they come up with the strategies, they come up with the innovation, they come up with certain, say, ways out to get the success in it. Therefore, education hasn't just been teaching the CBSE curriculum or CBSE books that they have been written maybe some 20, 30 or 40 years back. Now, the thing is that we will really target education for career, then the dynamics is so high that we have to mold and change our curriculum, our pedagogy, our structure every year, every year. That is what the coaching institutions are doing. And that is what has been happening in the lower class now, that is in the flux. Chaitanya and Narayana, and some of them are doing, though they are not mature, they don't have any streamlined mechanism, streamlined structure, the curriculum. So therefore, it's a really good time for people, for community, for those who are in the schooling and education field to come up with innovative ideas with a mindset that how to say hit the bullseye, right? And the bullseye is our target, the success in the competitive examination, right? Say, for example, our aim and our objective or our strategy here in the international, we have classified the say our education in different milestones, 4 milestones. Like we call this first is M and C mastering calculations of number that we focus upon from first class to fourth standard without giving any name, whether it be JEE, NEET or anything, nothing to do with that. They are more about how to calculate fast, accurate, and that is needed in all kind of say competition, whether it's banking or maybe PO or maybe say railway or maybe CAT or maybe GRE. Anywhere if you go, we see that the aptitude is mandatory, and there we really need to be fast in calculation. Then 5, 6, 7, we have our own books, mastering calculation in variable, how trigonometry, how vectors, how coordinate geometry, how to calculate, how they are used as a tool to solve the problem. So that is more about touching base the fundamentals or say foundation for the JEE, NEET, and then 8, 9, 10 is more about say foundation JEE and NEET, where we start teaching 11th and 12th to the level of JEE mains. So this is our strategy, this is our way of doing that. Other people have their own. So this is what the innovation really comes in play. Like we have Motorola phone, we have say, Samsung, we have Apple, we have someone else, right? And they are just having the race, and they are trying to say catch up a market segment, and all of them are trying to win. So here again, we have these opportunities with us, and everybody is trying their way out to find out and get the biggest share of the given opportunity. So here we really need really great people who are not just educationalists, but also the great managers, the great strategists, the great, say, planner, the great project leaders to envision that how we should win in this dynamics, say in this age of where we have so much of dynamism in the education, it is continuously changing. Right, so this is what we have, the foundation course, our books, we have STEM template tools, Zia Lab, where we have how to, or the labs that we see about 11, 12, 8, 9, 10. Do you see any change in the last 30 years? That what practical we used to do, exactly same practical we are doing right now. Is there any change happening last 20 years? No change. The world has gone changed. And our education system, the labs is same. Why not to make labs such that we can make the concept understandable, more easy? It should be more audiovisual, maybe more scientific, more creative, more right. There's a lot of innovation needed. So that these are different directions where we can basically focus upon. So again, positioning, schooling, and PU second slide, the learning has to be more application oriented. If you talk about JEE, the problems in JEE, if you see the problems in CBSE 11th and 12th, the course structure is same. The syllabus is same, but if you see the problems, you will see clear differentiation that one is talking about the application, talking about engineering, talking about how you're going to use physics to solve the real life problem. That is right, exactly you will see in the JEE test. So they want more creativity in student that out of these concepts, how they are applying real world problem. And CBSE or other boards are talking more about the formula, the derivation, the theory, right? It's the opposite other side where they say, I don't care whether you can write the formula, I don't care whether you can write the explanation. What I care about whether you can solve this problem or not. If you can solve, I would understand that you know theory, you know everything. Right, so it should be more application-oriented teaching, and it should be more mental mode pedagogy, because the things are really complex. J advanced training is not, or NEET is not that simple, because the competition is so cutthroat, right? So here some mentor has to be there, at least 10, 12 hours. He should be there who can basically give help on every step they are stuck at, right? And it's not conventional teacher where there's a big distance between teacher and student. Here it's more that it's a mentor where we can explain his problem, and no matter whether it is a personal, even if it is going to affect their career, right? And they should have very clearly defined career goals. I hear from some students saying that just 2 days back, a student came, I want to become maybe a lawyer or maybe an engineer. So they are diagonally opposite career direction. So he was in 10th. He has appeared in 10th and going to take admission in 11th. And was talking that whether I will be going to become say a lawyer or maybe the engineer, whichever would be easier, I'll adopt that. So they don't have clarity of their goals. The competition is so cutthroat that our goals should be clear right from maybe very early, say stage, maybe by the say reach in ninth or eighth, we should be known to what exactly, whether we will be going, that will be more driven by maths, or it is going, which is more driven by biology, or it is going, or it is more driven by humanities. So that goal should be really, say necessary. And because of this competition, going forward, I think the Madaris modes of hostel would be very relevant. Wherein, if you see today in every family, the access to internet and gadgets are uncontrollable, right? No matter what we do, we are really a problem of all the every family, and the distraction is at peak, right? So probably this hostel mode, where if you have some 20, 30 students, then if you are treating everybody same, then they will not have that kind of thinking what they have at home, that I am not being given the access to internet or mobile, or maybe not able to see really a lot. Rest others, maybe you and the father and the mother, for their own reasons, they would be using. So there it would be a mindset that I am cornered, maybe I'm not being given. But here in the hostel, probably they see everyone is treated same. They don't have access to mobile, they don't have access to any gadget, and they are, say, fully controlled, say, atmosphere where the bedtime and wake up time and study time, they are well regulated. And because these hostel and wardens, they are not emotionally as attached as the parent is, then they can be tough sometimes, whether a student like may or may not like. That probably a parent may not be able to do. So going forward, seeing the competition and the very early stage of the preparation that people have started with will lead to this model probably going forward. And that is what basically have the Chaitanya Narayana, they have the hostels also. And they have very stringent rules there. Right? Therefore, they have really, say, very good results with them. We can move ahead. Okay, so maybe Mubassir, I will be talking more about the shifting landscape of education, especially about JEE and NEET and what industry is doing, and with some analysis that he has gone through last 12 years and teaching in the best reputed, say, institution across India. So Mubassir,
Yeah, sure. Hello, assalamu everyone. Am I audible? And my screen is visible to me.
Yes, you're audible. Please go ahead.
Fine. So basically, I have been teaching for this JEE for the last 12 years. Worked with different organizations and whatever I have observed. So in a nutshell, I would be presenting all my learnings in front of you, right? And also this will be in perspective, a different perspective, which I would be sharing up with you. So let's move ahead. So basically, I just want you to think about all the different high-paying career or jobs in India. If you talk about that, there are 5, 6, 7, you can say different roles, right? Which pays the maximum a salary, right? So one such thing which all of you would be aware of, that would be tech roles or software roles, right? And second thing is you can go into civil services. So officially in civil services, the pay is not that good, which could match with the maybe of software industry roles like Google or Microsoft, etc. But yeah, it has its own perks, like you have the significant influence, you have a prestige, respect in society, etc., etc. Right. Then the third one, which is the one of the most high paying jobs which comes under that, that is the medical professionals, doctors basically, right? Then you have these days so many startups coming out, so many entrepreneurship which is coming out. People are building companies, right? All these things are coming up, right? Especially in the last decade, we have seen many startups becoming unicorns, right? And then the fifth one is your investment banking and finance, where most of the people are from IIMs, etc. Right. So, and the last one is your management professionals like CEOs, CTOs, etc. of corporates, companies, right? So these are some of the most high-paying jobs or career roles you can say in India. Not only in India, I should say this would be worldwide, right? This would be worldwide, right? Now, what is common between all of these? Which thing binds all of them together? I just want you all to participate in this discussion with me, and I just want all of you to answer this on my behalf. Do you think there is something common in between all of this? Anything which binds all of them together? Anyone would like to comment anything?
Main
Okay.
education is the common education and what you.
Education is common. Again,
Yes.
fine. That is definitely there. But again, as Nazim sir has already discussed, two kinds of educations are going on right now. One is education for literacy, which is governed by the different boards like CBSE, ICSE, etc. Right, and other one is education for career. Right. So now, one very interesting fact which you will see here is that I'll go to that next slide. So all these fields, right, except for medical professionals, which would be dominated by doctors, definitely, all these fields are dominated by engineers, mostly IITians and NITians. So if you talk about the highest paying jobs in software or tech jobs, so 94% of them are engineers in that, and that to IITians and NITians. Similarly, if you talk about civil services, UPSC, 50% engineers are there who qualify for civil services and become IAS, IPS, etc. Similarly, definitely for medical professionals, there would be doctors, right? For startups, if you talk about the startups, right? So in India, if you talk about the startups, there are 74% of the startups which are run by engineers, mostly IITians and NITians. Similarly, if you talk about investment banking, right, in that there are 50% IITians. Some of them might have gone into IIMs, and after that, they would have taken up this career, right? But 50% of them are IITians. Similarly, if you talk about the top CEOs, CTOs, etc. of different companies, most of them are IITians, right? In fact, 72% are engineers. I would not say IITians specifically, but 72% are engineers. So one very interesting thing which binds all of them together, all these high-paying jobs or roles which I have discussed about, and as you can see, they are different, very different roles. Like software engineer is very different from someone who is running a startup. That is very different from someone who is an investment banker or who is a CEO or CTO, right? So these are very different careers at the you can say the extreme spectrum, right? And still, most of them, as this data suggests, most of them are engineers. So what's happening here? There is something happening, right? There's something happening. What is that something? So that something is all of them are preparing actually for JEE and NEET, right? All of them, whether it is IITian, NITian, or the doctors, right? All of them are preparing for JEE NEET. So what is there in JEE NEET preparation which makes them formidable enough to land up the high paying jobs, or you can say most coveted jobs or most coveted career? What is there in this JEE NEET coaching, right? So something definitely happens here, right? So now for that, I'll go to the next slide. So now what does this JEE NEET preparation does? See, we have like almost 32 lakh people who are preparing for JEE and NEET in India every year. Out of that, 20 lakh are for NEET and 12 to 13 lakh. It varies, keeps on varying, changing. Right, so that is for JEE preparation, right? So what does this preparation does? And definitely not all of them will get all the IIT seats or the NIT seats, but still it develops, it cultivates a mindset, it develops problem solving skill, and that is what is needed. Second thing is that if you are preparing for such a cutthroat competition or such a exam which involves so much of your aptitude, analytical skills, etc., definitely you have to be disciplined and you have to be a very good manager of time. So basically, discipline and time management. Yeah, it inculcates all these things in you. Then the third thing is, I mean, since the competition is so tough, right? So you have to be mentally prepared, mentally resilient if you actually want to crack these exams, crack these competitive things, right? And then the fourth thing is that you would be having access to an elite network because some of your friends would be going into IITs or NITs or they would be becoming doctors. So that networking thing happens, right? So now if you look at, I'm moving to the last slides. So all these jobs, whether it is a software engineering job or whether it is UPSC, civil servant, IAS, IPS, etc., or an specialist doctor, or whether a CTO, CEO of different companies. So do you think there is anything else which is required apart from these qualities? If they can handle tough situations, if they can handle challenges, if they have that aptitude, if they have that problem solving skills, if they have that discipline, that time management, that mental resilience, do you think anything is there which can stop them from achieving their goals? No, right? So that's why, even though these all roles are at very wide range of the spectrum, and still engineers are dominating these fields, it because this preparation that inculcates, that develops all these skills in them, right? And that is what I'm coming to. So now the question is, like, how have we created this? How have we created all these things? Like if I start from the last 4 decades, from where this JNET industry started, right? So I think Nasim sir had talked previously about that. How had it affected us, and from where it started, the rise of quota, liberalization, and all these things. I will just share a different perspective on that, right? So in 90s, what happened was that the quota started basically, especially started with Bansal, and then what they did was they started segregating this JEE NEET curriculum into smaller models and patterns. It basically it streamlined the whole, you can say, syllabus, and it made it easier for students to grasp it. So this whole 1990s to 2000, they did all these things. They prepared their content, right? And then they streamlined this whole thing. They prepared different models and different patterns in every chapter. They have divided the chapters into topics, subtopics, and all these things they did. So now here what happened was definitely whoever would have or whoever had access to all these things, definitely they got advantage, they got this edge over other students, and they started going into IITs, right? So now at this point, we did not have many coachings. There was just quota, and people used to go to quota, move to quota in order to get quality education. So basically, what is this doing? What is this JEE NEET examination doing? So this JEE NEET examination is getting the best minds of the country, right? So which have got all these skills, they have that mental resilience, right? They have that aptitude, that problem solving knack. That is what this JEE NEET examination is wants out of you, out of the entire population of India. They want to select those themes, right? So now the thing is, in 90s it started, right? And quota made it easier for students to understand the JEE NEET pattern, and they started preparing their students on these patterns, and definitely students saw an advantage in that. They had an edge over other students, and they started moving to quota, right? So now after 2000, like 2000 to 2010, once this whole model is developed, right? This whole topic, subtopic segregation, pattern segregation, this whole content, this whole curriculum is developed. So after that, what they did was they developed this skilled manpower, means the people who could train them, because it was not easy. JEE NEET coaching was not easy. It was not a cup of tea for everyone. So then they trained the manpower. They created those faculties, those teachers who could actually train the students for that level of problem solving, for that level of, you can say, the aptitude, right? So for all these things, right? And then they started, once they had the manpower, it took a decade to develop the enough amount of, you can say, the required amount of faculty so that they could expand into the entire country, right? So I could say that from here, franchising model started building. So now, as we can see, since JEE NEET examination, they are looking out for the best and the brightest minds of the country, right? So definitely, it is not going to be easy, right? Definitely, it will be a very tough situation which the students will have to go through, right? So wherever the students will feel that they are getting empowered or they are getting advantage over other students, so definitely they would move into that. So this whole 2000 model, to the decade of 2000, which I call it, right? So in that, what they did was they expanded into other parts of the country, right? Apart from Kota, they expanded in other parts of the country. So now what? Now, once they started expanding into other parts of the country, now most of the students, right, still they had not penetrated into villages, etc. But yeah, they had reached tier 2 cities. So now, since there are like almost 10,000 good seats in IITs, right, and NIT is 20,000 reasonably good seats, so 30,000 seats. But this coaching industry already reached like 6 lakhs, 9 lakh people, right? So now what? So the thing was, like in 90s, there was no problem. Like there were few students who were going to Kota and they were getting selected into IITs. But now, after 2010, they just went into the entire country, and then you had the same amount of resources available for every student, the same quality, the same material which was available for every student, right? So now what? So now, how will any student get an edge? How will a student get advantage over other students? So now what they did was, or what this coaching industry did was, they started penetrating into schooling. Like, fine, now all the students have access to coaching from 11th and 12th. So now what we will do is we will start preparing the students from 8th, 9th, 10th onward, which we call foundation program, right? So that some students who are following those patterns, they could have an edge over other students, right? So which we call as Gurukul model or the hostel model, right? Integration with schools and hostel model, right? So this went on from 2010 to 2020, right? And after that, like after 2020, what next? So now online model came, and they had to penetrate into villages and all those things, right? They have to reach everyone, right from tier 1 cities to villages. And here, like, if we see this online model and if we see the result, if we compare the online model, what we have understood is that this online model was not as successful as this integration with school model or the Gurukul model, which we call as, or the offline model, which we call, right? Because I mean, in online model, there were certain challenges. The challenges were that there were not enough doubt-solving opportunities for students. No one was there to guide them. And there were problems like this, due to which the students could not cope up and they could not compete with the students who were teaching in the presence of the faculties who were there in offline model, right? So now this online model has been there for the last 5-6 years, and we have now understood that this online model is not going to work. So what next? So this decade of 2020s, it was dominated by online model, rise of many online giants like Unacademy, PhysicsWallah, etc., as or some of you might be knowing, right? So what next? So according to me, the future lies with hybrid model. So since we have understood that online model is not going to work, it's not going to give any advantage to a student or edge to a student over other students. So according to me, the the future lies in the hybrid model. But yeah, there are certain good things with online model. The good things are that it somehow, I mean, it helps in certain areas, like it is helpful for students to visualize the things. We could make 3D images, 3D models, etc. So all these things we can make. So now the future lies with the hybrid model, where you'd be taught with the best brains, best minds of the country, right? In the presence of them, you are being taught, they are being taught directly by them, right? And then there is some online element which helps you, or which augments you, or which augments your preparation, which augments your studies, right? So what we are doing right now is we are looking this JNEET coaching from that scenario, from that point of view, where we would be having the offline model, where we would be having the best teachers, best faculties who themselves are graduated from IITs, etc., who could actually train their students for that level of understanding, for that level of aptitude, for that level of problem solving. And then there would be certain online elements in order to augment that, in order to facilitate that, in order to ease them, right? Ease their preparation. So this was all about what we are doing as a coaching, JNEET coaching. Why is JNEET coaching important, and why should we enroll our students for education based on career, not based on literacy, right? Because if we will be enforcing the students, or admitting the students for a certain kind of education which is only looking for literacy, so we would not be creating the brightest minds of the country. We would not be helping the community. We would not, and if we are not creating a you can say a successful career, right? If you're not creating a successful career, then that students will not be able to help others. That students will not be able to lend a helping hand to others. And that is what we should be focused on right now as a community. That is what we feel in Zia school as well as Zia Academy. So yeah, that's all from my side. And now it's on you. I mean, I would be welcoming the questions from you.
Please stop screen sharing, please.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now we should go for question and answer session. If anybody has any questions, please come forward. Unmute yourself before talking on the mic. Anybody?
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum
What's
salam.
up, Dr. Muzammil here.
Ji.
Dr. Muzammil here. Mukesh sir, just I had one very brief question. I'm very happy that you have given full details from starting from quota and beyond school, as well as now you are thinking of about hybrid model from your school.
Correct.
Hybrid in the sense how you are going to deal with this type of offline and online, how you are going to mix up that one.
See, there are certain aspects of online which are actually helpful, and there are again other aspects of offline which are not helping students. So see, if we are teaching students through online mode or through online model using YouTube or any other video we are preparing, we are making and then sending it to them, right? So the whole problem lies in the fact that, I mean, these exams, these competitive exams, they require a lot of problem solving. And if we are teaching them just through online model, we won't be having enough time for them to interact with the faculties. And unless and until they interact with the faculties, their doubts will not get clarified. And if their doubts are not getting clarified, they will never land anywhere. Right. So the whole thing, as we have discussed, it's all about the problem solving skill. That is what all these high paying careers look out for, right? Problem solving skills. And it is not only for career, it is for it is a life based skill, right? So in our life, in our journey of life, we face different situations, different scenarios which are sometimes very difficult for us, right? And if we don't have that knack right? If we don't have the ability, it is difficult for us to navigate, right? So the whole point is that there should be someone to help them whenever they are stuck, right? So that they could solve the numericals, they could develop that aptitude, develop that skill. So that is not possible through online. For that, the presence of a teacher is very much necessary. The presence of a mentor is very much necessary, right? So this is where the online model lacks. So offline is needed for this particular thing. But again, there are certain aspects of online education which is helpful. For example, let's suppose a student misses a class. And if I'm teaching offline and as well at the same time, I'm recording the class. So maybe if he has missed 1 or 2 days, he could see the recordings and he could come up on par with other students, right? Other things are there are with online education, we can have 3D models, we can have images, videos, right, to illustrate the points in a better way, illustrate the teachings in a better way, right? So that is what we are trying to do here. We are trying to amalgate both of that so that the good points from online model could be taken into the offline model. And that is how we are seeing that part.
Okay, thank you. If any other questions are there from other side, let us wait. Later on, I will ask.
Yeah, brother, I have a
if I have the
question.
opportunity.
Yes.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum
Can
salam.
I
This is
go
Abdul
ahead?
Ghaffar
Can I go ahead?
from BENFA.
Hello.
May I
Yes,
audible?
yes. Fazal bhai, please go ahead.
Yeah, someone is asking me. Brother, I have a question. Question is, in this new models are coming up, this of exams, is it possible for a student to clear both JEE and IIT? What kind of preparation and from standard he has to start? Is that school are
Could you
recommending
just
uh,
could you please repeat the question again because it was not very much audible. The voice was breaking down. Please repeat the question once
okay.
again.
My question is it possible for a student to clear both of these competitive exams by undergoing some kind of foundation courses at the very early stage? Let's
Is
say
it okay? So your question is basically, is it possible for a student to clear these exams if they are undergoing foundation programs from an early stage, right? So see, again, I mean, it is possible for students to clear the exams. Definitely, it is possible for students, right? Maybe your question is directed towards what's the right age for admitting a child into such programs so that they could handle these competitive exams easily. I think that is the question you are trying to ask, right?
I mean to crack both JEE and NEET exams, not
Uh,
specific to one selection.
to crack both the exams. Okay, I'll just give you
Yes.
some insight into that. It is possible, right? I have many of my students who have done it in the past, right? But having seen that, I will not suggest that thing to anyone. The reason is that these are very competitive exams, and cracking one of them at a single time, that itself is very challenging and difficult, right? But again, there are some students who have very high IQs, right? They are God gifted, and I have seen many students who have done it starting from 11th itself, but that is not recommended. Why is it not recommended? Because it is actually very tough. So yes, we can do that, but why would you do that? The question is, why would you do that? Because anyway, you would be choosing any one, right, as a career. Either you would be going into through JE into engineering colleges, or you would be going through NEET into medical colleges, right? You cannot be an engineer and doctor both. You cannot have two graduation degrees at the same time, right? So why would you want to do that? That is the right question.
That is because when I select biology as a PC, MB as a selection in my grade
Okay.
or whatever PUC one grade you call, So
Okay.
at class 12, I have two options, right? Either I can go for engineering or I can go because my selection has these two things together. So
Okay. So you are saying that if you will take PCMB, physics,
this
chemistry,
point
maths,
of
and
time, based
biology,
on my yeah, yeah,
correct. If you
yes,
will take all four, physics, chemistry, math, biology, so you'll be having two options. You can write both the exams. You can write JEE and NEET, both the exams. So you'll be having more options. That is what you are saying, right?
correct, correct.
Fine. So from where I am seeing, you are limiting your options. Because if you are, as we say, in Hindi, you cannot sail in two boats at the same time. दो नाव पे सवारी एक साथ नहीं करते हैं. Because ultimately that is not going to work, right? So you are seeing that you are opening multiple options, but from where I am seeing, you are limiting your options, because if you would be concentrating on one exam, right? If you would be concentrating on one exam, there would be better chances of you to succeed in that exam, because you would not have to divide your time into the fourth subject, right? So it means, see, like you have two options. Either you can have all four subjects and you can distribute your time in all four subjects. So definitely you are going to have lesser time for a particular subject. And as I have told, these exams are searching for the best minds of the country, and those students are being trained by the best minds of the country. It's not only the students who are the best minds of the country, it's the faculties as well, right? So you can understand the gravity of this, you can understand the seriousness of this. And in this scenario, right, when it is difficult for someone to clear one exam, one such exam, you are opening multiple options. No sir, you are not opening multiple options, you are decreasing your options. So it is not at all recommended, not at all recommended. So you basically, that's what I think Naseem sir was discussing about. Like, you should have your goal clear from a very early stage, and you have to work towards that goal. Then only you will be cracking these
All right.
competitive exams.
Assalamu alaikum. Can I have a question, please?
Yeah, sure.
Firstly, Mubashir, mashallah, tabarakallah. Well, it was very nice listening to you and your presentation. Though you gave myself, Dr. Sheikh Muhammad Moinuddin, Senior Registrar, King Fahad Hospital from Medina. Mashallah, I saw your presentation of higher space jobs, and you gave an, though you mentioned doctors are highly paid, but you gave an edge to engineers on a lighter
Yeah,
note.
definitely I gave an S to engineers, because
Yeah, but
if I see
I agree on that. I agree on
okay,
that. Coming back to my question, and also relating to the question of Fazal Bhai, as a parent, we have a dilemma. What
correct.
option, what career should we choose for our child? Because is child enough mature to choose a career for himself, or
Hmm.
a parent should decide a career for himself? This any key books or guidelines for parents to help us in deciding career, because beyond medical and engineering there are a lot of other careers, and
Correct, definitely.
that's my question. Thank you very much.
Correct. So, see, there are two parts in this. One thing is, how can you decide a career for the student, because they might not be at the right age to decide for themselves, right? They might be influenced by other factors, like they might have watched some YouTube videos and they would be like, okay, this career looks so fancy, right? And they might be thinking that I want to become like this, but that might not be the right decision for them, right? So how can one decide which career to choose? Second thing is, your second part of the question is that, like, we have different other career options apart from engineering and medicine. So what about them, right? I think these are your questions. Am I correct? Okay.
Yes.
Fine. So I'll go one by one. As we have discussed, like, yes, there are definitely many different career options. And some of them I have highlighted, I think, in the slide. Like UPSC, being an IAS, IPS, that's an entirely different career option, right? Then going into a management field, right? Becoming a manager in some company, that is an entirely different career option, right? Then apart from, starting your own business, that's again an entirely different career option, right? And there are many other career options as well, right? But what trend are we seeing here? What is required for you to excel in any career option or in any job for that matter? So what is required is that you should have that problem solving skill, because no matter which job you land into or which career you choose, there would always be some problems to solve. Yes or no, right? So that aptitude needs to be developed, number one. Number two, there would be there has to be that level of mental resilience, because every job or every career that will demand a lot from you, right? So my understanding is that yes, definitely there are many different career options, but if you actually prepare for, that's what I'm not saying that you have to go into IITs or NITs, but you have to prepare for JEE NEET for 2 years. What it does is that it builds all these qualities in you, right? That is what it does, right? So if you have those qualities, after that you are matured enough to choose your career, right? Whether you actually want to do it, because you might have seen many engineers who have left engineering in midway and they have moved to other fields. How can they move into other fields? What gives them that confidence that they can move into other fields? Many IITians, they have left engineering and they have become actors, they have become creators, they have become something else. So what gives them confidence that they can move into something else? From where is that confidence coming from? Because they have been trained like that, right? They know that they can do anything they want, right? They can excel in any career they want, right? So like just an example, if I talk about myself, I started my career from being a software engineer. I worked in an MNC for 2 years, and after that I moved into education. So from where did I get that confidence that I can leave my software industry and I can change the entire industry from software to education? From where is this confidence coming? Because I have been into that. I have that problem solving skill. I have that aptitude. I have that knack. I understand that, okay, I can do it no matter what. I have that confidence. So that confidence needs to be built, right? If they have that confidence, then at the right age, they can definitely choose a career for them when they are responsible enough, matured enough, sensible enough to choose the career, right? So for now, from what I feel, unless and until you are graduated, you are not matured enough to choose a career. Before that, if a 11th class student tells me, or like, I mean, it is my habit, like in my class, whenever it starts in 11th standard, I ask everyone, like, what do you want to become? Some of them says, I want to become pilot. Some of them says, I want to become IS officer. Some of them says something else, right? Different roles, they say, right? Then I just smile, right? I just smile, I don't say anything. And then I'm like, fine, after 3-4 years, you'll be actually able to decide. So right now, these are just fancy titles, fancy professions, which you are talking about, right? When you will enter into the real world, then you will understand, right? What all roles or where do you fit? So we have to only develop that aptitude in them, that confidence in them. And after that, they would be able to choose the right industry for themselves. So that is how I see it.
Thank you very much.
I had a question. Can I ask?
Yeah, sure. Please go on.
Yeah, so my question is, I think, two parts. One is, so the NEET that happened on Sunday, it was one of the worst papers, and there were around 25 lakh people who wrote it, I think. And
20 lakh
also, no, I'm
sorry.
Correct. Let me continue. Let me complete the question.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and the other thing is, I feel like the current situation of coachings is more of a money mongering business rather than actually coaching kids. I myself am an MBBS student who's gone through all this. That's why I'm able to say this. So my two questions are basically, how can coaching academies or academies in general deal with the heap of population for these exams? And also, how can they change the scenario from being money mongering businesses to actually being able to teach children? That shift the focus, basically. How are these changes to be brought about?
Number one is that you are seeing these coaching industries as a money mongering business, right? And number two, how can they actually shift towards education, right?
Yeah, and
And
also control the crazy competition that's going on right now.
okay, so the last part, how to control the crazy competition that is going on right now, that is not in our hand. Nobody can control it. It's Darwin's theory of evolution, right? Whoever is the fittest, they will get the things done, right? So I mean, no one can control it, right? So it's a start. It's going on from a very long time. Okay, so I think Naseem sir would like to answer this. Okay. So,
Okay. So your question is, there are two parts. One is that how can we control the competition and the cutthroat competition we have today? And second is that what could be the alternate for that, right? How should we, right? So I would say in India's context, let us say I'm talking to extreme cases. One is India, other is US. Why competition is not so cutthroat in US, but why it is so cutthroat in India? Take the US GDP, say per capita. It is $90K per person, right? In India, it is $2.8K. That is about 30 times more. If you see US population density, it is 35 times lesser than India. US is bigger than India, and US has 1/4, 1/5 population of India. So there the per capita is 30 times more. Population density of India is 30 times, 35 times more. If we see these two variables as an opportunity factor, and they definitely are, then the US today has about 1,000 plus more opportunity than India has. So if a child is born in India and a child is born in US, then the child in US has gotten 1,000 times more opportunity. Definitely the competition there to get the career would be much, much lesser because there are lots of opportunities. In India, it is 1 upon thousands. Therefore, people are just crazy to get those few say options available here. So we can't do anything for that, number one. Second, how can we make it easier? Yes, this question is very relevant. And earlier, what trend we have seen in 90s quota, then 2000 in the corporatization, then 2010 this expansion and integration. Now the trend today is that those preparations has brought down to class 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th, right? What pressure the student used to have, and now also they are having to deal with in just 11 and 12. Now that has gone spread in 6 to 12, that is 7 years. So it is like feeding the same amount of the say the course in 7 years that one is feeding in just 2 years. So definitely the pressure will come down, but competition still will remain same, right? Competition still will remain same. The pressure that where they were just crushed in 2 years will be prolonged. We see the results. IIT, JEE and NEETs, they are not difficult, very difficult. They are based on strategy and preparation. So those who are doing it, trying to do after 10th, and they haven't done anything up to 10th standard, probably they have got 90% in CBSE, that is meaningless. What is there in CBSE up to 10th standard in maths, and what is there in 11th, 12th maths? See the difference. It's humongous. It's unbridgeable, right? So those gaps has to be bridged. And if we start this gradually from 6th onward, then definitely it will become much easier. But maybe later, 10 years down the line, if that becomes the norm, then everybody will be having us say being in the same boat preparing from 6th standard. The only difference would be that pressure will come down, but competition will still be that much because they cannot be compressed As much as we are doing it in 2 years, the duration would be 7 years. Maybe sometime later they will start doing it first standard. Believe me, it is going to happen. It is going to happen in another 15 years that people will target it from the first standard onwards, because they are corporate house. They have to expand their business, and they will convince you and I that if you are not going to do, your kids is going to have no future or no career, right? For that matter, we started it from first standard. I have written book for first, second, third, and fourth. We have started this year, and that we had given name the mastering in the calculations of number. That is the first milestone that we have defined. We are giving any name for any competitive examination, because mastering in number calculation is really important. That is fundamental, whether be it for the banking exam, be it for railway exam, be it for your say CAT, be it for your GRE, be it for any competitive, whatever there is an aptitude, there is a need to be lightning fast at the calculation, and that is dealt up to fourth standard. The table, multiplication, division, subtraction, right? And then prime factorization, ratio, proportion, all that is dealt up to fourth standard. And here in CBSE, it's like going for play. And if you see and go in any best school today, you go in DPS and ask in fifth standard that is there any student who knows table up to 12, up to 20 and able to use that table in the calculation, you will hardly find 5%. You will hardly find 5%, and that student, believe me, cannot do that thing throughout the life, because there is a time duration wherein that practice can be made. So what I mean is this competition is inevitable. We have limited opportunity in India. If India governments come up with so much of growth, maybe opportunities, probably we'll have more career options. In that case, our students will spread, focusing on different say streams in the careers, right? Then the pressure will go down. So don't expect that we will be the pressure will come down. It is not going to come down. It is not going to come. And we have to live with this pressure. If we really want to succeed as a community, if you want to succeed as an individual, we have to tolerate and be competitive in this environment. I just maybe to take 2 minutes of yours. Its education is today is as revolutionary as it is technology. We all heard about, say, mobile communication. It started in 2000, 3G, 4G, right? Then we have seen it, the artificial intelligence. Before that, the computer revolution, right? Education is really that much dynamic. And I have taken this Chaitanya and Narayana quite a few times. They are from Andhra and Telangana. They have matured that model in these two states. They have a norm to prepare for JEE and NEET and their competitive examination from 6th standard. See the results of 2023. 2023. It's mind-blowing. Probably you will surprise on my data that I'm going to share. JEE Advanced, top 5,000, 75% of the qualifier are only from two states, Chaitanya, say Telangana and Andhra. Only from Andhra and Telangana, that contributes just 9 crores of the population out of 145 crores population of the whole India. JEE Advanced, their penetration was 75%, and the same was in NEET too, because they had adopted strategies and means. And today, the whole industry's result is one side, Chaitanya and Narayana's result is the other side, and they are beating the whole industry. The reason, they have come up with the techniques, they have come up with the strategies, they have come up with the methodologies and curriculum. People are adopting. And this article from which I'm quoting to is not written by Chaitanya. It's written by the directors from Resonance Coaching Quota. The quota has lost its pride. It's gone. It's gone days of the quota. Right. So the dynamics is so fast that it is shifting. It is shifting. Maybe tomorrow somebody will come and will be say having that lead and leadership. Say, for example, if they have 75% share in the top, say JEE and NEET, please say forgive me if you mind me taking JEE NEET over and again. Why I'm saying is when I say JEE and NEET is not the engineering college, it's a nursery which nurtures the brains and visions. If you talk about the data 2018, I'm quoting the data 2018, 63% of UPSC qualifiers were engineers. 63% of UPSC qualifiers were engineers, mostly from IIT. Now take the data from Andhra and Telangana. 75% of top 5,000 JEE advanced qualifiers were just from two states, which contributes 9 crores. What it means that in the coming days, the dominance of UPSC qualifier would be from those two states if others are not following that. So for social transformation too, they are the tools. The IIT preparation is not just sending in the IIT. It's just sending a place where brains are nurtured. The best economics are from IIT. Raghuram Rajan is from IIT. He has been one of the best economists in the world. He has been one of the best RBI governor in India. Right? Take any CEO, they are from IITs. I'm not take the best, say the officers today in the UPSC, IPS or IES. Many like 2018, 63% engineers from the IITs. So don't take IIT means an engineering college. It's a place where the collection of the students are such that they do not think low. Because when there is a herd where they talk about high targets, then those who has low target, they also raise their bar. Right. So therefore, if you talk that this competition is going to be low, it will never be low because the opportunities are limited. We have to be in the race and we have to compete. There's no alternate. If you have to win as a society, if you have to win as a community, and if you have to win as an individual, we have to strive. There's no alternate. If people are making money out of it, let them make. Who cares about that? Our objective should be to enable a system through which the people should reach to those places where we really want to see. I go in Intel, I go in Broadcom, the world's top MNC. I just move on to their floor, 200, 300 best brain working. You cannot find 3-4 people from our community. That is the death of the community. That is the death of the community. If we run behind, if we run behind the race, we'll run behind. We will be nowhere. It's just strive and be in the race. It's not that we shouldn't complain that it is really putting so much of pressure. Yes, we have to put our kids under pressure. We have to say, if we don't like, we have to sacrifice. We have to sacrifice. There is no alternative. Otherwise, what we are, we will be worse than what we are today.
Yeah, and I can see Khadir Bhai has raised his hand. Khadir Bhai, are you there?
He's gone for the prayer, sir.
No, because he has raised hand, I can see. Khadir Saab, आप हैं?
Dr. Saab, I have a basic question with
Ji, come, please,
panel.
go ahead, please.
Sir, Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
This is Abdul Razak Khan. I am from BENFA Charitable Trust. Actually, I owe a school. The practical problem what I am facing is the government has fixed 6 years for first standard. We should not take even 5 years, 8 months, 11 months. The problem is, what is the government strategy behind this?
About the age?
Yeah, regarding the age of admission for first standard, child's admission, the government says we should not take under 6 years, not even 1 month or 2 months.
Yeah, so CBSE is very stringent on this rule that you cannot take admission, right? See, again, they are very much focused about the literacy program, right? Therefore, the rules are derived from the comfort of the student and the parent, not from the educational output. They see that, okay, if student is not having that age, he probably will not be able to manage being in the class. he probably will not be in the state that he can feel comfortable about in the class. So their objective is more on towards creating a culture, environment, and the ecosystem wherein student is more comfortable in going to school, whether he learn or he does not learn. Because in a period of 8 years from first to eighth, which is they have made it mandatory to promote every year, no matter he has learned or not. They are known to that in this 8 year, however he does in school, he will be able to read and write if he passed through that the time period. So their rules and regulation many a times does not make any sense if we think the education from perspective of a parent, that we want the educational output rather than the literacy output.
Okay, any other
Thank you very
question?
much, sir.
Any other question? Okay, I think we'll have to go for the closing remarks. I request Dr. Muzammil Ahmad Sahab, who is the director of BENFA Education Empowerment Program, to give his closing remarks about the webinar. डॉक्टर साहब अनम्यूट करें आप. नहीं, आप अनम्यूट नहीं है अभी भी. We are not able to hear you.
Now you can hear?
Yeah, now we can.
Some earphone problem. Sir, before giving some concluding remarks, just I have one a small question, because I thought not to interfere with others, because give the opportunity for others. हमारे नसीम साहब एंड मुबशर अहमद साहब के लिए, दोनों के लिए भी है. One, my question is, do you think you are also following Narayana and Chaitanya's model, or a little bit away from that? Afterwards, I will give concluding remarks.
Yes, so Narayana's, Chaitanya's model, basically what they have. Their model is focused on a segment of the people who are. So if you see the people who are the student and their parents, what they belong to, they have a section of from the community who are service class, where the parents are able to pay huge sum amount, and where they are working. So they have 5 day a week, and they have 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. class model, right? So in that model, because parents are there on Saturdays and Sunday, so student has to be at home with their parents. Rest 5 days they are working. Then if the student goes at 7 a.m. in the morning and comes back at 7 p.m. in the evening, that is good for them. So they have devised a model around the working class, and that is very well suiting to them. And they don't bother whether their kids are away from morning 7 a.m. and to evening 7 p.m. It is best suited for their profession and job, right? And that is where their business model lies. And they are a class of people who are able to pay 2-3 lakhs per month, even for per year, even for 6-7 standard, right? But one good thing that they have in all that business model and they say corporate centric drive, what good thing they have? They have a delivery system where they are really producing or having good share in NEET and JEE. If you take 2024 result, the last year's result, in JEE Advance, in top 10, 8 were from Chaitanya Narayan. Out of 10, the 8 students in JEE Advance were Chaitanya Narayan. In top 100, 68 were from Chaitanya Narayan. This is the last year's result. So whatever good, bad they are doing, ultimately they are producing the country's leader. And if I say the top 68 out of top 20 in JEE Advanced, they all deserves to be IAS officers of India. Our community is not producing just 25, say, IAS officer every year. And they are producing about 250, if I give you the calculation, because I'm talking about 68 in top 100 JEE Advanced. In top 1000, last year's result, if I remember correctly, 480 or something from the only two institutions. Because of the dominance of the engineers in UPSC, I'm not wrong to say that in UPSC, every year these two institutions alumni are going in UPSC examination at least 250 to 3 out of 1000, that is 25%. So whatever good, bad they are doing, forget that part. Are they money making machine? Let them make money. Let us not criticize what they are doing, but what end goal they are achieving, let us focus on that. And let us try to build a system in place wherein all those bad practices or things what they have, let us not do that, but let us challenge their outcomes. If we can do, I would say our system would be much better than, and we are trying to do that.
Okay, thank you very much. Just I am giving some concluding remarks. Thank you very much, Janab Naseem Ahmad and Mubashir Ahmad sir. You highlighted very good points about the education system. The what I observed in this scenario is they highlighted starting from 1990 liberalization as well as the quota education industry to the present scenario. As they told, our outcome is very, very important, and a hybrid model is successful in this scenario. As we also observed during COVID time, we tried to focus most on online because there was no other option for particularly 1 or 2 years. Immediately, we thought to go for complete online, but again, over the time, the result shows that offline is also equally important. Offline is equally important, and online is part of it for the success stories. That is quite. We also observe the same thing, and the experts, Mr. Naseem Saab and Mubashir Saab, also told the same thing. In that one, our observation is also similar, like what they had. I'm very happy to observe that about their analysis. For those, their aim is to compete for JEE. If those who are compete for JEE or engineering entrance examination, at least they're having some idea, and they're entering and focusing on to some other industry if they are not successful to go for IITs like KAS, RIS, or startups or investments or management professionals. They highlighted that most of the places 70% engineers are occupying those chairs. Overall, the success story of many the present model is to start a model and focus from 7th or 8th standard so that the parents and students can concentrate on those studies and their mind will be set to go for certain examination and competition. Success story is different, but their mind will be set to decide their future in the years to come. Very thankful to you, and this is my observation, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you for your professional and series of analysis and the various ways of giving queries to our answering to our queries, as well as it is very happy to understand more about the success story of Telangana and Andhra, where 70% or 50%, more than 50% of that successful carrier and those who are joining JEE are from those states who are having 10 crores population or 20 crores population, and they are going beyond other populations of India. Thank you very much, sir. These are my concluding remarks. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Saab. Thank you very much. Now I request Abdul Razak Saab to give a small dua so that we will end this webinar. Abdul
Assalamu
Razak.
alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Auzu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Rabbi ighfirli wa tub alayya innaka antat tawwabul ghafur. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Subhanallahi wa bihamdihi. Subhanallahil azim. Subhanallahi wa bihamdihi. Adada khalqihi wa rida nafsihi wa zinata arshihi wa midada kalmatihi. Ya Rabbul Ghafur, Ya Rabbul Rahim, Ya Rabbul Alamin, Ya Rahmur Rahimin. اس قوم و ملت کو جس طریقوں کی جو تعلیم کے لیے چاہیے تھا ان طریقوں کو سیکھنے کی اور ان طریقوں کو اور آگے بڑھانے کی اس قوم و ملت میں وہ قوت وہ حاجت عطا کر مالک آج جو لوگ جمے ہوئے ہیں یہاں کے پر جو اس قوم و ملت کا درد رکھتے ہیں جو ہمارے جو نظام ہے جو تعلیمی نظام ہے جس کا اچھا استعمال کرنا چاہتے ہیں تاکہ آگے ہمارے بچے ہمارے قوم کی ملت جو اس ذلیل اور اس ذلیل ہونے سے بچیں اور اس طرح کے جو بھی ہمارے دشمنان اسلام یا دشمنان قوم ہے جو اس ہمارے لیے پھر ترتیب بنائے بیٹھے ہیں ان کے لیے ہمارے لیے ایک اچھا جواب ہو ہمارے قوم کے بچے سب تعلیم یافتہ ہو اس طرح کی ہمیں ہمت دے اس طرح کا ہمیں حوصلہ دے اس طرح ہمیں راہ ہدایت پر قائم رکھے مالک اور جو لوگ آج وقت نکال کر خاص کر ہمارا پینل ان کے لیے ہم ان کے لیے اللہ تعالی آسانہ فرمائے ان کی اور ان کے نالج میں اور ان کے اس میں اور برکت عطا فرمائے وآخر دعوانا ان الحمدللہ رب العالمین.
Ameen. Now, Farooq Bhai, can we end the webinar?
Alhamdulillah, I think we should do it, sir.
Okay. With
Thank you, Dr. Naseem.
Okay. With everybody's permission, I would like to end this webinar. Thank you very much and Jazakallah khair.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum.
Okay, thank you everybody. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.